Hi, I'm Chad with Move Forward Guitar. This lesson is from our course Beginner Course 2. Beginner Course 2 picks up right where Beginner Course 1 left off, and you're going to learn more chords, chord progressions, strumming patterns, how to play in time to a basic beat, and much more. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you another chord progression. First off, this course includes jam tracks as well as a corresponding premium eGuide. The eGuide includes all the detailed charts and diagrams for each lesson, step-by-step instructions to help you practice and retain the material in the video lessons, extra bonus tips and tricks, and much more. To accelerate your learning, be sure to grab the jam tracks in your copy of the premium eGuide by clicking the link on the screen or looking in the description below. So this next chord progression I'm going to show you is one of the most popular chord progressions in popular music. There's countless songs that use this progression, not just in the key I'm going to show you in all different keys, but still the progression is the same, the movement of the chords is the same. And if you search for the Axis of Awesome 4-chord song video on YouTube, you'll see a video where they take this progression and show you how many different songs use the exact same progression, and it's pretty interesting, pretty funny, and you'll be able to see how you can take one progression and just write countless songs with it, and how different progressions are recycled over and over again. And they play it in a different key than what I'm going to show you, but still it's the same progression. It doesn't matter what key you're in, it's still the same movement of chords. So the progression goes G to D to E minor to C. And first, before anything, just work on the transitions. First, you're going to go from G to D major. And with this one, it's actually a little easier than before because you share a fretted note, and that's with your third finger. So with the G major, your third finger is fretting the second string, third fret. That finger stays there when you switch to D major. So play the G major, take off your first, second, and fourth fingers, but leave your third down, and then put your first and second fingers in place and just leave your fourth finger off. So that's really important when you're learning new transitions. Find any chords back to back that are sharing notes and see if you can leave that finger down. And that's going to make your transitions a lot smoother and a lot cleaner. So again, just play the G, take off your first, second, and fourth fingers, move your first and second finger into place for the D major, and then just keep going back and forth until you have that transition. And again, you might have to do one at a time, but eventually you want to get it so that your fingers are going down at the same time. So once you get the G to D down, your next move is from D to E minor. So from D to E minor, you're just going to remove all your fingers and go to the E minor, because there's no shared fretted notes. And again, you just want to get it so that you're putting your fingers down at the same time, but I know at first you're going to have to look for the spots where they land, but eventually just get it so you can get your fingers down at the same time. And just go back and forth from D to E minor. And I know before in the last course I showed you both ways you could play E minor. You could play it with your second and third finger, or you could play it with your first and second. But for this one, it's better, in my opinion, to play with your first and second, and that's because when you're transitioning to C after E minor, there's a shared fretted note, and that's with your second finger. So after you have D to E minor, you have E minor to C. Your second finger is going to stay in place the whole time because that's on the fourth string, second fret for the E minor, and for the C, it's on the same fret. So play the E minor, take off your first finger, and then change the shape of your hand and put your third and first finger down in place for the C major. And just go back and forth, leaving that second finger in place. So it's really important to find those shared fretted notes and keep the finger down if possible. So from G to D, leave down your third finger. From D to E minor, you just have to pick up all your fingers and move them. But then from E minor to C, leave your second finger down. And then from C back to G, when you end or start over, you're just going to have to take off all your fingers and move them into place for G. And again, just do it over and over again until you can do it quickly and smoothly, and until you get your fingers to go down at the same time on each transition, not one at a time. And some fingers might go down before other fingers, but if you do it really quickly, you won't notice that. You just want them to be going down at the same time if possible. So then once you have the transitions down, then you can play them with 4 down strums each chord. So it'll be like this. And you could just start over and keep doing that until you have it smoothly and all your strums are consistent and have the same space in between them. And that's example 1. If you look in your eGuide example 2, then you're going to play it with basic strumming pattern 1, and that would sound like this. And then once you can play it without the jam track, then play it to the jam track, start at 50 beats per minute and work up to 70 beats per minute. And I'll demonstrate at 70 beats per minute here. Then once you have that down, you can move on to example 3, which is same progression, but now you're going to play it with basic strumming pattern 2, and that would sound like this. And that's without the jam track. Now I'm going to play it with the jam track at 70 beats per minute. And again, when you're going through the jam tracks, just start at 50 beats per minute and work your way up to 70 beats per minute. Really take your time, just make sure you're playing right along with that jam track and it all feels good. And don't rush anything, don't think you need to play faster than those jam tracks. It's really important to be able to play at a slower tempo, and then it'll be easy to build your speed later. Be sure to look in your eGuide under this lesson, where you'll find step-by-step instructions for how to practice and retain everything that we just went over. You'll also find instructions for when to move on to the next lesson. So thanks for watching and keep moving forward.